Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Enjoy Biology, and today we'll be discussing about the blood flow route in circulatory system. So we all know that our heart is a four-chambered structure. So imagine this is our heart. It's not the actual structure. I'm just teaching you to make the thing easy for you. So imagine this is a four-chambered structure, which is the heart. Now this is the right side, this is the left side. So one tube will come from down part of the body and one will come from the upward portion of the body. This structure is known as superior vena cava. This structure is known as inferior vena cava. So superior vena cava, inferior vena cava. And if superior vena cava plus inferior vena cava, it will give vena cava. Superior vena cava brings deoxygenated blood from head, neck, shoulders, that means above the limit of the heart, and or the upper part of the body, from the upper part of the body. And inferior vena cava brings deoxygenated blood from the lower parts of the body. And superior vena cava plus inferior vena cava is equal to vena cava. So this chamber is known as the right atrium. I'll write the spelling for you. This is the right atrium. And what is flowing into that? Deoxygenated blood from the full body. When these two tubes, or superior vena cava and inferior vena cava, are bringing deoxygenated blood, so this full chamber will be full of deoxygenated blood. Now the pressure inside this chamber will increase. So what will happen? If this is the right atrium, this will be the right ventricle. This is the right ventricle. So the blood from here has to flow from here to here, but it can't pierce the wall of the heart and go inside, right? So there should be a door or a gate. So a gate is present which is normally closed, but due to the increasing pressure in the right atrium, it opens, as a result of which the whole deoxygenated blood present in the right atrium will flow into the right ventricle. So now the right ventricle is full of deoxygenated blood. And this gate is known as tricuspid valve. So tricuspid valves allows the flow of blood from right atrium to right ventricle. These gates allow unidirectional flow of blood, or the flow of blood only in one direction. Now right ventricle is full of deoxygenated blood, so pressure inside the right ventricle is being increased. So what will happen now? From the right ventricle, one tube will arise which will go those are the lungs. The shape is pretty bad over here, but these are the lungs, and this structure is known as pulmonary artery. Remember, pulmonary artery is the only artery in the body which contains or carries deoxygenated blood, or else all the other arteries except for pulmonary artery, it carries oxygenated blood, but only exception is pulmonary artery that carries deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs. Now, why the blood is going from the heart to lungs? For purification, because this blood does not contain any oxygen. So this blood is going to the lungs for purification. Now oxygen will be added into the lungs by diffusion. So when the blood inside the lungs is added with oxygen, that blood is known as oxygenated blood. Means the blood carrying oxygen. Now from the lungs, what will happen? From the lungs, one structure will come and pour the oxygenated blood into, if this is the right atrium, then this is the left atrium. This will pour the oxygenated blood from the lungs into the left atrium. And this structure is known as pulmonary vein. Similar to pulmonary artery, pulmonary vein is the only vein in human body that is carrying oxygenated blood, because all the veins except for pulmonary vein carries deoxygenated blood, but this is carrying oxygenated blood from the lungs to the heart. But pulmonary artery is carrying deoxygenated blood from the heart to the lungs. Now, one thing I should mention, that when the deoxygenated blood from the right ventricle is flowing into the lungs via the pulmonary artery, this also has valves inside, which are known as pulmonary valve. That means again a gate that allows unidirectional flow of blood from the right ventricle into the pulmonary artery. So here pulmonary vein is bringing oxygenated blood from the lungs into the left atrium. So now the pressure inside the left atrium is being increased because of accumulation of oxygenated blood. Now what will happen? Again a gate is present over here, which is known as bicuspid valve. The other name of bicuspid valve is mitral valve, and it allows unidirectional flow of oxygenated blood from the left atrium into the left ventricle. Now the full of left ventricle will be with oxygenated blood. The pressure inside the left ventricle will increase, as a result of which one more tube will be attached from here along with valves, and the oxygenated blood will flow from left ventricle into this structure, which is known as aorta. Aorta is the largest artery in our body, and vena cava is the largest vein in our body, and this valve, which is known as aortic valve, that helps in unidirectional flow of blood, oxygenated blood from left ventricle into the aorta. And what will aorta do? It will go behind the heart, and it arises from here. From here it will go and it will distribute this oxygenated blood throughout the body, so that our body can utilize that blood full of oxygen for all our functions like digestion, movement, excretion, urination, everything. So we need oxygen to perform all the actions that are going on in our body. So this aorta will provide that oxygenated blood throughout our body. So this was all about the flow of blood inside the circulatory system.